in the building. Welcome to another episode of the My 5 Cents podcast. Let's go ahead and introduce the characters to my that way. Oh no, that way. I got H Liz.
Habitual line stepper in the building. What's up, everybody?
What's going on? And to my that way, we got the logical genius.
Yo, 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 the logical one is in the building. You know what's about to go down?
Yes, and this is our latest episode about our 5 cents about last week. And this is dropping on July 31st. So we are going over all the news and info of what happened in the week that just passed. And first, I want to start us off by shouting out our new followers. On Instagram, we got Ruby iHeart and Demure3. Thank you for following. On TikTok, we have Sally D1019. We have Laura Unfiltered, we have Reed, and we have Jay's Bordeaux, who's going to be coming up on an upcoming episode, so look out for that one. On YouTube, we got Ask Me Why Poker. We got Jesse. We got James Andrews. We got Time But. We have A. Morrison. We have Yolanda Russell. We have Tang Sauce. And we got Style and Vibe. So thank you all for joining the community. And the best way to do it is to, of course, comment or post or be part of the debate in our People's Poll. And you can earn a shout out on an episode just like D Wags from TikTok. He commented on our TikTok page, and it was going on the debate last week talking about President Trump taking credit for real sugar cane and Coke. And D Wag's comment was, that dude can smell colors. And that made me laugh because you are right. The president probably walks into the room and says it smells like purple in here, or it makes me wonder when he goes to the strip club, would he say it like it smells like neon, or a gay bar? Would he say it smells like rainbows? Who knows? It's very multicolor in here. But thank you, D-Wags, for that comment. That thing made me laugh.
Oh, yeah. President Trump's always making the news. I mean, this was a couple of weeks ago, but he says his things. I think he had a meeting with like one of the diplomats from an African country. I can't remember which country, but he's something to the extent was, "Wow, your English is really, really good. How did where did you learn how to speak English?" And the guy was like, "It's our native language," or something like that. So, man, hey, say what you want about Trump, but he brings in headlines, man. He brings in headlines.
All right, so this is our 5 cents about last week, and I'm going to start with the fifth headline, and that is a gunman killed a New York City police officer and 3 other people before taking his own life at a Manhattan office tower on July 28th. Man exited a double-parked BMW with a rifle and then walked toward the skyscraper on Monday evening. According to surveillance video, he opened fire on the NYPD officer as he entered the building before shooting a woman who tried to take cover and spraying the lobby with gunfire. The suspect left a 3-page note suggesting that he had a grievance against the NFL over a claim that he suffered from CTE, the degenerative brain disease that Will Smith had that movie about. And honestly, I know O.J. Simpson passed away, but I truly believe he had CTE. It's a shame that he didn't want to donate his brain to science, and may have been part of the whole Nicole Brown murder there, the double murder. And let me not forget Ron Goldman as well. So fellas, I mean, would you let your kids play football?
It's I don't have any kids, but that's something I think about. Like I would always think my kid would play sports, right, in some degree of fashion, whether it's basketball, tennis, golf, or some sort of sport. And football is one of those things, man. Like it's a violent sport. Like it's literally a violent sport, and I feel like people are just. It's a great sport to watch. It's a great sport to play, but I feel like people are just lucky that there aren't a lot more injuries out there, right? Because I'm playing basketball, walking around, I sprained my ankles. So imagine me getting hit on the football field. Like I would break something immediately, So I don't know, man. That football thing is it's scary stuff because you don't realize like the injuries are the injuries, but the long lasting things like CTE are like you don't realize those until like years, decades later of playing, right? So that's the scary part because you don't know who's going to suffer from it and who isn't.
Yeah, I don't know. We should stop playing football. Yes, I grew up playing football. I'll let my child play football if I had a son. But I think maybe A, there needs to be advancements in the equipment, and B, maybe we should put a shelf life. Maybe it should be a 10-year max. And no matter how good you are, you have a lifespan of 10 years in the NFL. Um, I mean, because you don't hear about CTE in boxing, and you're constantly for years getting pummeled in the head, right?
Yeah, I
And
don't
it's
know.
at
Like,
it's at close range. Like, granted, you have a
yeah,
300-pound linebacker running, 15 miles an hour at me. That has a different impact. But then again, if I'm getting consistently hit in the head by a boxer, that has to have some sort of traumatic injuries to my brain as well, right? But we're not stopping boxing.
maybe I don't know. I mean, I think there's a lot of. I think you can probably look at medical like research on boxing and how much it damages the brain. I don't have that information. I don't, whatever. But I know a lot of people. I don't know if it's true or not. A lot of people equate right or wrong, like equate like Muhammad Ali's condition, to his fight with like a lot of people were saying, oh, he wasn't the same since his fights with I forgot who he fought. All those fights he had and all the damage that he took or whatever. I think football is a little bit different in boxing in the sense that you are wearing like equipment, so like I think you're projecting you're like a projectile in some instances, right? And you're like, and I know and the NFL has been like restricting like things like that, like jumping like with your shoulder first and just shooting out. Back in the day, I remember seeing old like videos from like the 80s or whatever, where they used to slap each other in the head, like in the line. Like all of that stuff is being cleaned up. You see people now in the NFL with like extra big helmets. People used to make fun of that, but like they have these extra like size. I don't know. It's one of those things where I think, and also too, it depends on your genetics. I think some people are probably more prone to like head injuries or bodily injuries or even concussions, right? Some people get concussions like that, and others are like you don't hear about it, right? And they've been playing for years, decades. I don't know. So what do you think? What would you let your kid play?
That's a tough one. It's a very violent sport, and I mean, I know you mentioned the boxing piece, but Muhammad Ali, he's the greatest of all time, and look at how he transitioned and kind of moved on. So those violent sports are very, very difficult. I know that they've come up with new equipment. They got like the Toad helmet. I don't know if y'all familiar with Mario
Yeah,
Kart.
yeah, yeah.
Toad. They got that helmet that's like extra cushion. Maybe that's the answer. I know NFL players are kind of like that doesn't really look so cool, but I mean, what looks cooler? You having CTE or you wearing a mushroom head?
Yeah, I also think it needs to go back to the fundamentals, right? I remember playing football when I was growing up in my youth. Some of the fundamentals were like you wrap up and you tackle. You dip your shoulder, you take the legs, and that's how you take someone down. Now in the NFL, there is none of that. You're hurling your body at someone else, you, and
No,
you're not wrapping up. You're just literally trying to make the
yeah,
tackle by hurling your body at someone else.
yeah,
And when I
and
was
I
growing
think
up, it was different.
they're getting rid of a lot of that, like in their rules or whatever. And I think a lot of people say that like no one knows how to tackle anymore, right? Everyone's
Yeah,
just like trying to pump people, and shoulder them or whatever. Um, but yeah, that's yeah. It's I think I remember reading an article where someone suggested, well, you know how you get rid of these head injuries? Take away the helmets, right? Because people won't be projecting themselves like that, right? And then you look at another similar sport like rugby.
Uh,
Rugby is physical as well. I don't think they suffer from the same level of like head injuries because they know like my head's unprotected. I'm not going to shoot that thing at somebody, right? And try to lead with my head to tackle
yeah,
somebody on the shoulder because they don't have any equipment. So
yeah.
you can be violent to a certain point without you know without hurting yourself because you're unprotected. I think people have this it's literally armor, right? Football gear is armor. A head is your helmet, and you're protected. So people have this sense of like um, of immunity from being hurt because of the gear that they have.
Yeah.
All right. So at number four, this is a little bit of a long one, but there's a lot to unpack. So, according to USA Today, lawyers for Jeffrey Epstein accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell continue to push for the Supreme Court to overturn her 2021 sex trafficking conviction, as they also seek President Donald Trump's help. In a July 28th filing in Maxwell's pending Supreme Court appeal, her lawyers argue the Justice Department is seeking a blank check to rewrite a 2007 plea agreement with Epstein they say should have protected Maxwell from prosecution. Her case, Maxwell's attorneys wrote, is about what the government promised, not what Epstein did. In addition to her Supreme Court petition, Maxwell's lawyers also had a message for Trump. We are appealing not only to Supreme Court, but to the president himself to recognize how profoundly unjust it is to scapegoat Ghislaine Maxwell for Epstein's crimes, especially when the government promised she would not be prosecuted. So what you are telling me is that the president lied about a promise? And are we surprised by this, fellas?
Oh, this is the gift that keeps on giving. This whole Epstein
Giving.
file thing, it's making headlines. It's not going away. Uh, and I think Trump is in hot water, and I think some other prominent politicians are sweating. Um, they allegedly they released a video of Epstein dying in jail with his 1 minute that was missing. I think someone got to him, and I think, God forbid, something might happen to Maxwell as well. We'll see.
Yeah, this thing's interesting because the fact that they're directing it towards the president, right? It's kind of like one of those things where it's like subliminal messages, right? Like, listen, you need to get my back because I'm about to expose you, type of thing, right? Like because she was heavily involved, and I don't blame her and her attorney for getting like a plea deal because it sounds like, again, if I'm reading between the lines, reading the tea leaves, it sounds like they have ammunition and they're trying to leverage that ammunition, which a lot of what plea dealings are, and to get better deals for her and for the client. So I'm not surprised by this move, but I wonder if like pleading to the president is to kind of throw a message to him, like directly, indirectly saying, listen, you need to help me out because if you don't, Trump's been like supposedly linked to a lot of things with Epstein. So like, like I'm going to pull your card. That's the vibe I'm getting from this.
100%. You could tell Maxwell. Wait, hold on. Let me try my best impersonation. I want to talk to the Don and offer him an offer that he cannot refuse. That's what's going on with Maxwell right now. So let's go keep it moving on to number three. At number three, oh man, we have a man by the name of Ryan Walters out of Oklahoma. He's a superintendent of public instruction, and he has cultivated a reputation as a right-wing Christian nationalist. Even some Republicans have expressed discomfort with his radicalism. But now he's facing a new kind of problem as the sheriff's office in Oklahoma is investigating an incident during a state board of education meeting last week that reportedly involved images of naked women on the state school superintendent's office television. This man is trying to bring the Bible back into school, but has porn on his TV. Fellas, how do you unpack this?
I swear, some of the biggest Bible thumpers are the most egregious sinners out there. Just saying.
Yeah, I feel like they
Agreed.
they think they have a because they're so well versed in the Bible and religion that they think they have a back door to get away with stuff. I don't know. Like I feel like you have the Matrix thing and you're like keying in, like, yeah, I know I shouldn't be, but I know a way around it, right? I know a way around the rules or whatever. So I feel like that's what a lot of them do. But I'm surprised and not surprised by this because, like, I remember witnessing this in person back in college, back in good old URI days. Shout out to University of Rhode Island. And I was and so you remember the computer lab in one of the buildings, right? It's downstairs, like in the library or whatever.
Yeah,
And one
yeah.
dude, I don't think he was a student because he was an older dude at the time. He looked like he was in his like probably 30s or whatever. And he's literally watching porn on one of the computers in the computer, and the computers are like lined next to each other or whatever, and just like, and he saw people walking by. He's just like, yep, yep. Like, so I feel like, so it's one of the things that people just don't have control over. I mean, I don't get it, but I get it, I guess. But it's crazy. So I'm not surprised that, he, what was he watching porn or something like that? I think on his phone.
They said nude images,
Ah,
so I mean, if you really wanted to upgrade it takes it to the next level. He could actually say the rosary while the Kim Kardashian sex tape is playing in the background. I mean, that right there would be freaking gold right there. All right. Number two, we have Hulk Hogan, the bicep busting icon of professional wrestling, turned the sport into a massive business and stretches influence into TV, pop culture, politics, and a long scandal second act. He died at the age of 71 on Thursday in Florida. This has caused some controversy because Icon, on one hand, checkered past in regards to his racist remarks, which really had me thinking because, of course, the internet was on fire, the culture was on fire with his past there. And it made me think of an equivalent, like what is the equivalent or the black equivalent to that? And to me, it's Bill Cosby, where you had an icon who had a checkered past. And how is it that we're going to remember Bill? And do we show reverence for him? Are we being hypocritical in the regards to Hulk Hogan as we seem to be lambasting him on that side? So I wonder how the culture is going to take it when Bill passes. And of course, the other side mentions his other half. So what do you think about Hulk Hogan and his legacy?
Listen, he did great things for the sport, for the world of wrestling. He is an icon in that genre. However, he's not a good guy. He's not a good guy. So rest in peace. But I'm not going to mourn your death.
yeah, this is a tough one because I grew up a wrestling fan like a lot of people did, and he was one of the people, like he was the box office draw for wrestling for WWF at the time and now WWE. So he was the main draw, and like he was the star of that, and he was the one who elevated that to another level, and that continued on to where it is today, right? And with all these superstar wrestlers. So on one hand, you like, at least in my childhood, you appreciate the stuff that you saw on television, like that, because is a show, it's entertainment, right? He was basically an actor, no different than an actor on a TV show or an athlete that you watch on television, right? You're doing these phenomenal physical feats or whatever. He did have a checkered personal life. I don't know. I can't comment on. I don't know enough about the story for him for what HLS is saying about him being like a bad person or something like that. Like I know he, like during his sex tape like video leak or whatever back in like 2016 or something like that, like that part of that in that court case revealed that he had used like racial slurs or whatever. Is that enough to kind of knock someone and say that person's a bad person? And I'm not saying you're saying they're a bad person for that. I just don't know what other things he did in his life to make him like a bad person or something like that. I know he was a big, whether you support it or not, he was a big like MAGA, like Trump supporter, right? So I know a lot of people knock him for that as well. But you can't knock the stuff that he did on the wrestling side of things. Like he did transcend the sport. He did revolutionize that form of entertainment.
that one. But no, I agree. Hogan is just not a good guy. In addition to his comments, I think he said something about he didn't want his daughter dating a black guy. Uh, I think he doesn't have a good relationship with his daughter. He doesn't have a good relationship with his wife. So, like in the world of wrestling, if you stick to that, Hulk Hogan should be revered. But if you take that person, that man, outside of wrestling, and say the man, not so much.
All right. So shifting to number one, and this one has to more do with social media and just a video I found on the socials, and people doing some line dancing to the theme song of Law and Order, which they really turned up and they did their thing. We might have to put that in episode description, who the heck they are. But fellas, my question to you is, what theme songs would you like to line dance to? So for me to start it off, gosh, I'm thinking Step by Step, right? Anything that mentions stepping, you could do some stepping. I don't know if y'all remember that show.
Yeah.
Gives you that country rock line dancing feel. So like Step by Step would be the one that I go with. What you guys got?
Oh, I got two. I got two. But since I have two, I'll let you go first, Logical Genius, because I feel like you might take one of mine. So I always
How,
have one backup.
how are you gonna have two? And one of them better not be Friday Night Lights. Um, I don't even know what the theme song is for Friday Night Lights. But my pick, my one pick, because I'm following the rules, would be Game of Thrones. That theme is still hits, right? If you can line dance to Game of Thrones, if it's already been established, Lord Logical of House Genius, like that would be my theme song. That would be the theme song that I would line dance to.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I got two. I
Foxtrot.
got I got an up tempo one and I got a smooth groove one. One would be Fresh Prince Bel Air. Feel like that could be an up tempo line dance. Um, and thank you for being a friend from the Golden Girls. Feel like that could be like a nice, slow, like you know, 1 2 1 2 twist and turn. Yeah, yeah. Those two. It's a toss between them. It's a flip coin.
Those are some two solid picks. I think you do better at our 5 cents of last week than you do in the actual show. So we wanted to end on a light note. I hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, this is our 5 cents.